My name is Hannah. I am 14 years old, and 3 days before Christmas, my stepmom came into my room holding a small box wrapped in cheap paper. "This is all you're getting this year," she said with a thin smile, dropping it on my bed. "See, we had to make some adjustments," she continued, smoothing her designer sweater. "The family needed the money for more important things. You understand, right? Important things." That was her phrase, not an explanation. I stared at the box. It felt empty, while behind her, I could see the living room filled with presents. Mountains of them. New Xbox for my stepbrother Jake. Designer bags for her. A motorcycle in the driveway with a bow on it for my dad. The tree was surrounded by gifts that probably cost thousands. And I got one empty feeling box because the family needed the money. "What money?" I asked carefully. "Your Christmas fund, obviously," she said, like I was stupid for asking. "Your mother set it up years ago, but she's not here anymore to dictate how we spend family money. We decided it was better used on things that benefit everyone." My Christmas fund, the one my mom had created before she died when I was 8. $45,000 she'd saved specifically for me, $3,000 to be given to me every Christmas until I turned 18. Creating memories and traditions she knew she wouldn't be alive to give me herself. It was supposed to be untouchable. Managed by my dad as trustee, but legally protected for me. And apparently, it was gone. All of it? My voice cracked. "Well, we've been using it for the past 3 years. Family vacations, home improvements, Jake's private school tuition, things that matter." She looked at me like I was being selfish. "You got to come on those vacations too, didn't you? You benefited, so stop acting ungrateful." I'd benefited from my own money being spent on things I never asked for. I wanted to scream, to throw the box at her, to run downstairs and tell my dad exactly what I thought of his new wife stealing my dead mother's gift to me. Instead, I waited until she left, opened the box. It contained a $15 drugstore necklace, and pulled out my phone. I opened my notes app and started typing. December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. Stepmom informed me my Christmas fund, $45,000, has been used for the family. Said it's been spent over the past 3 years on vacations, home improvements, stepbrother's private school. This year's Christmas, one cheap necklace, while everyone else got thousands in gifts. Mom set this fund up before she died to give me Christmas memories. They stole it, because if my stepmom thought she could take my dead mother's final gift and call it family money, she was about to learn that 14-year-olds have access to legal documents, can file police reports, and know how to make sure the whole family sees exactly what kind of person she really is. Do you want to know how one stolen Christmas turned into an investigation that exposed my stepmom's systematic theft, destroyed my dad's career, and made sure everyone knew they'd robbed a dead woman's daughter? Stay to the end, and you'll see exactly how I turned their perfect family Christmas into evidence that sent them both to prison. I didn't open any presents on Christmas morning. While Jake tore through his pile, new gaming PC, VR headset, a watch that cost more than most people's rent, I sat on the couch in my pajamas, watching. My stepmom, Vanessa, noticed. "Hannah, aren't you going to open your gift?" "I already did, the necklace, thank you." My voice was flat. She smiled tightly. "See, we didn't forget you." My dad barely looked up from assembling Jake's new bike, a $3,000 bike. For a kid who already had 2 bikes, I pulled out my phone and took pictures. The mountain of presents. The price tag still on some of them. Jake's face surrounded by thousands of dollars of electronics. My one cheap necklace on the coffee table. Added them all to my evidence folder. After presents, while everyone else ate the elaborate Christmas brunch Vanessa had catered, $800, I'd seen the receipt on the counter, I went to my room and started digging. My mom had died 6 years ago from cancer. Before she got too sick, she'd set up the Christmas fund with explicit instructions. $3,000 given to me every December 24th from age 8 to 18. Money for experiences, gifts, memories. All the Christmases she knew she'd miss. I'd received it faithfully for the first 3 years. Age 8, 9, and 10. My dad would sit me down Christmas Eve, hand me an envelope, and we'd talk about mom and what she'd want me to do with it. Then he married Vanessa when I was 11. That Christmas, the envelope had only $1,000. We needed to use some for household expenses, Dad had said. But you still got something. Age 12, $500. Age 13, nothing. The fund is getting low, Vanessa had explained. We'll see what we can do next year. Age 14, a 50-yard necklace, and the admission that the entire fund was gone. I did the math. Original fund, $45,000 I should have received by age 14, $21,000. 7 years, x $3,000. I actually received $10,500 total missing, $34,500, and that wasn't counting what should still be left for the next 4 years. Where had $34,500 gone? I logged into my mom's old email account. I'd had the password since I was 10, when Dad had shown me her farewell messages to me, one for each birthday. I'd never deleted the account. Found the trust documents she'd sent to herself for safekeeping. Downloaded everything. Read through legal language that made my head hurt, but my heart hurt worse. The fund was irrevocable, meaning it couldn't be changed or dissolved. The money was mine, held in trust, with my dad as trustee but strict rules about disbursement. $3,000 per year, every Christmas Eve. No exceptions, no early withdrawal, no trustee discretion for family expenses. If my dad had spent it on anything else, he'd violated the trust, which meant he'd stolen from his dead wife's daughter. I took pictures of every page, uploaded everything to 3 different cloud accounts, started a new document, evidence, Christmas fund theft. Then I did what my mom had taught me to do when something felt wrong. I asked questions. That night, during Christmas dinner, $400 worth of catered food that I didn't eat, I asked my first question. Dad, what happened to Mom's Christmas fund? He looked up from his prime rib, surprised I'd spoken. What? The Christmas fund Mom set up. The trust. What happened to it? Vanessa's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Hannah, we've been over this, Dad said tiredly. The money was needed for family expenses. Your mother would have understood. Mom set up an irrevocable trust, I interrupted. I read the documents. It can't be used for anything except giving me $3,000 every Christmas. So how did it get spent on Jake's private school and your motorcycle? The table went silent. Where did you get the trust documents? Vanessa asked sharply. Mom's email. She sent them to herself. I've had access for years. You had no right to go through private financial It's not private, it's my money, from my mom. And you stole it. My dad's face went red. Hannah, that's enough. You don't understand adult finances. I understand theft. I pulled out my phone, opened the trust document photo. Section 3, paragraph 2. Trustee shall distribute exactly $3,000 to beneficiary Hannah Marie Torres each December 24th from age 8 to age 18, without exception, modification, or early withdrawal. Funds shall not be used for any other purpose. I looked at my dad. You're the trustee. You signed this, you agreed to Mom's terms, and you broke them. Your mother didn't know what our financial situation would be. That's why she made it irrevocable. So exactly this wouldn't happen. I stood up. I'm supposed to have received $21,000 by now. I've gotten $10,500. Where's the other $45,500? That's not how it works, Vanessa said coldly. The fund ran low. Some years we couldn't give you the full amount. That's life. The original fund was $45,000. How does it run low unless someone is stealing from it? Hannah! My dad slammed his hand on the table. Go to your room. Now. No. Excuse me? No. Not until you explain where Mom's money went. Not until you explain why Jake got $7,000 in presents this Christmas and I got a 50-year necklace bought with my inheritance. Jake, who'd been silent this whole time, looked uncomfortable. Vanessa looked furious. My dad looked trapped. Your room, now. We'll discuss this after the holiday. We'll discuss this now, or I'm calling the police. That got his attention. You're going to call the police on your own father? On Christmas? You stole from your dead wife's daughter. On every Christmas for 3 years. So, yeah, I will. I walked upstairs, closed my door, and did exactly what I'd threatened. I called the non-emergency police line. The operator who answered sounded tired. Non-emergency line, what's your situation? I need to report theft from a trust fund. My stepmom and dad stole my inheritance. The money my mom left me before she died. Her voice changed, became more alert. How old are you? 14. And you're certain it's theft, not a misunderstanding about family finances? I have the trust documents. They're irrevocable. The money was supposed to be given to me in annual distributions. They spent it on themselves instead. How much are we talking about? At least $3,400 stolen so far. Probably more. Silence. Then, okay, that's significant. I'm going to connect you with our financial crimes unit. They'll want to take a full statement. Will you be safe until an officer can reach you? I'm in my room. They're downstairs. I'm fine. An officer will call you within the hour. Keep your phone on you. I hung up and waited. Downstairs, I could hear raised voices. Vanessa and my dad arguing. Something about ungrateful and ruining Christmas, and just like her mother. That last part made my hands shake with anger. My phone rang 47 minutes later. This is Detective Sarah Park with Financial Crimes. Am I speaking with Hannah Torres? Yes. I understand you're reporting theft from a trust fund. Can you walk me through what happened? I told her everything. The Christmas fund Mom had set up. The systematic reduction in payments after Dad remarried. This year's complete absence of my distribution, while my stepbrother got thousands in gifts. Do you have documentation? Detective Park asked. Yes, the original trust documents. Photos of this year's Christmas presents, showing the discrepancy. My own records of what I received each year versus what I was supposed to receive. That's very thorough for a 14-year-old. My mom died when I was 8. She taught me to ask questions when things don't feel right. This doesn't feel right. No, it doesn't. Hannah, I'm going to need you to email me everything you have. Then I'm going to open an investigation. This is going to take time, probably months. But if what you're telling me is accurate, your father violated his fiduciary duty as trustee. That's a serious crime. How serious? Depending on the amount? Prison time, plus mandatory restitution. Good, I said. Then, surprising myself, I started crying. Not sad crying, relief crying. Someone finally believed me. Hannah, are you okay? Do you feel safe in your home? I don't know, I just accused them of stealing on Christmas. They're pretty mad. I'm going to send a welfare check officer to your house. They'll make sure you're safe and take an initial statement. Can you send me those documents tonight? Yes, right now. I sent everything. Then I sat on my bed and waited for the police to arrive. Downstairs, my dad and Vanessa had no idea their perfect Christmas was about to become evidence. The Christmas fund scandal continued. The police arrived 20 minutes later. Officers, a woman in her 40s and a younger male officer, rang the doorbell at 8:47 p.m. on Christmas night. I heard my dad answer, heard his confused voice. Officers, is something wrong? We're here for a welfare check. We received a report from a minor in this household regarding potential financial abuse. We need to speak with Hannah Torres. Silence. Then my dad's voice, tight with forced calm. I'm her father. There's been a misunderstanding. My daughter is upset about Christmas presents, teenager drama. I'm sure you understand. We need to speak with her directly, sir. I came downstairs before he could argue further. The female officer looked at me. Hannah Torres? Yes. I'm Officer Martinez. This is Officer Kim. Can we speak with you privately? My dad stepped forward. She's 14. I need to be present. Sir, this is a welfare check based on a report of financial abuse. We need to assess the situation independently. You can wait in the living room. I led them to the kitchen. Vanessa was standing in the doorway, arms crossed, face white. Officer Martinez pulled out a notebook. Hannah, you called dispatch about a trust fund. Can you explain what's happening? I pulled out my phone, showed them the trust documents, the transaction history I documented, the photos of this year's Christmas. My mom died 6 years ago. Before she died, she set up a fund to give me $3,000 every Christmas until I turn 18. It was supposed to be managed by my dad, but he could only use it for those annual distributions. Nothing else. And he's been using it for other things? Yes, for the past 3 years. This year, I got nothing, just a cheap necklace, while my stepbrother got thousands in gifts. When I asked where the money went, my stepmom said they used it for family expenses. Officer Martinez looked at the trust documents. These specify irrevocable distributions. That means your father couldn't legally use this money for anything else. I know. How much is missing? At least $34,500. Maybe more depending on what was in the original account versus what should still be there. Officer Kim whistled softly. That's felony-level theft. My dad appeared in the doorway. Officers, my daughter is making accusations she doesn't understand. I'm the trustee. I have discretion. Officer Martinez held up the trust document. This says you don't have discretion, sir. This is an irrevocable trust with specific distribution requirements. Did you use funds from this trust for purposes other than the annual $3,000 distributions to Hannah? My dad's jaw clenched. We used some of it for family needs, blended family expenses. Hannah benefited. That's not what the trust allows. Did you or did you not take money from this restricted account and use it for other purposes? Vanessa spoke up. We have a right to manage family finances as we see fit. Not when the money is legally restricted for a specific beneficiary, Officer Martinez said. This isn't family money. This is Hannah's money held in trust with your husband as fiduciary. If he violated those terms, that's embezzlement. This is ridiculous, Vanessa snapped. You're listening to a teenager who's mad she didn't get enough presents. I'm listening to a minor who has extensive documentation of systematic theft from a protected trust fund. Officer Martinez turned to me. Hannah, do you feel safe staying here tonight? I looked at my dad, at Vanessa's furious face, at the Christmas tree still surrounded by gifts bought with my mother's money. I don't know. We can arrange emergency placement if needed. She's not going anywhere. My dad's voice rose. She's my daughter. This is her home. A home where she just reported financial abuse and theft. Sir, I need you to step back. Officer Kim moved between my dad and me. Mr. Torres, I understand you're upset, but right now, we need to ensure Hannah's safety. That's our priority. I made a decision. Can I call my godmother? She lives 20 minutes away. I'd feel safer there tonight. Absolutely. What's her name? Patricia Chen, my mom's best friend. Officer Martinez nodded. Call her. If she's willing to take you tonight, we'll wait until she arrives and we'll file a full report for Detective Park. I called Aunt Patricia. I'd always called her aunt, even though we weren't related. She was a family law attorney, one of my mom's closest friends, and someone who'd been suspiciously absent from our lives since my dad remarried. She answered on the first ring. Hannah? Sweetheart, it's late. Aunt Patricia, I need help. The police are here. My dad stole my Christmas fund and I reported it, and I need somewhere safe to stay tonight. Silence. Then her voice, sharp and professional. Don't say another word until I get there. I'm 15 minutes away. Put one of the officers on the phone. I handed the phone to Officer Martinez. I watched her face change as she listened. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we have the trust documents. She has extensive evidence. Yes, I understand you're an attorney. Absolutely, we'll wait for you. She hung up. Your godmother is on her way. She's also requesting to see the trust documents. Says she was named as backup trustee and was never notified when your mother died. My dad's face went pale. Patricia wasn't. She's listed right here, sir. Officer Martinez pointed to the document. Section 6. In the event primary, trustee becomes incapacitated or unable to fulfill duties. Patricia Chen shall assume trusteeship. She should have been notified of any issues with fund management. We didn't think it was necessary. Or you didn't want oversight, Officer Kim said quietly. Vanessa grabbed her coat. I'm not staying for this circus. Jake, come on. Ma'am, I need you to stay until we've completed our report, Officer Martinez said. Am I under arrest? Not at this time. But you're a material witness to alleged financial crimes. I'm asking you to cooperate. Vanessa sat back down, fuming. We waited in tense silence. 14 minutes later, Aunt Patricia's car pulled into the driveway. Aunt Patricia Chen walked into our house like a force of nature. She was 52, sharp-featured, expensive suit even on Christmas night, and the kind of presence that made everyone in the room stand straighter. She looked at the officers first. Thank you for staying. I'm Patricia Chen, family law attorney and named backup trustee for the fund in question. She turned to me. Hannah, sweetheart, are you hurt? No, just angry. Good, anger is useful. She looked at my dad. Michael, what the hell have you done? Patricia, this is a family matter. This is a legal matter. You were named trustee of an irrevocable trust that my best friend, your late wife, created to ensure her daughter would have Christmas memories after she was gone. And from what I'm hearing, you violated every term of that trust. We needed the money. You needed the money? Or your new wife needed the money? Patricia's voice was ice. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like Vanessa convinced you to steal from your dead wife's daughter to fund a lifestyle you couldn't afford. How dare you? Vanessa started. I dare because I watched Emily create that fund while she was dying. I watched her save every penny she could so Hannah would have something from her mother every Christmas. And you, she turned to Vanessa, you came into this family and treated that sacred gift like your personal piggy bank. Officer Martinez cleared her throat. Ms. Chen, we need to take statements and complete our report. Of course. Hannah, get your things. You're staying with me until this is resolved. Officers, I'm formally requesting to review all documentation, and I'm notifying you that I'm taking over as trustee effective immediately based on the primary trustee's breach of fiduciary duty. You can't do that, my dad protested. I can and I am. You violated the trust. That triggers the replacement clause. I'm the name backup. I'm assuming trusteeship tonight. She pulled out her phone. I'm also calling an emergency hearing for next week to freeze all accounts and assess damages. My dad sank into a chair, looking defeated. I went upstairs, packed a bag with clothes and my laptop. Came back down. Aunt Patricia had her arm around me. Officers, I'll take her statement and forward it to Detective Park. I'll also be filing civil suit for breach of fiduciary duty and requesting a full forensic audit of the trust account. We'll include that in our report, Officer Martinez said. She looked at me. Hannah, you did the right thing. What happened here isn't okay. I nodded, not trusting my voice. As we walked out to Patricia's car, I looked back at the house. The Christmas tree visible through the window. My dad sitting with his head in his hands. Vanessa pacing, phone to her ear. I just destroyed Christmas, I said quietly. No, sweetheart, Patricia said, opening the car door. They destroyed it 3 years ago. You just made sure everyone finally knew. Patricia's house was warm and quiet. She made me tea, and we sat at her kitchen table while I told her everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. I should have checked on you more, she finally said. After Emily died, after your dad remarried, I should have made sure he was honoring the trust. He told me you and he had a falling out, that you didn't want to be part of our lives anymore. That's a lie. I called, texted, tried to visit. He shut me out. Vanessa didn't like that I'd been Emily's friend. She saw me as a threat. Patricia's jaw tightened. I should have fought harder. You're here now. And I'm not leaving until this is fixed. She opened her laptop. I need to see the full trust documents and the account history. Can you send me everything you have? I forwarded all my evidence. She read in silence for 20 minutes, her expression getting darker. This is worse than I thought, she said finally. The original trust was $45,000. With the conservative investment strategy Emily set up, it should have grown to at least $52,000 by now, even after the distributions you received. So there should be about $41,000 left? At minimum, but I'm betting the current balance is close to zero. She pulled up a legal database. Tomorrow, I'm filing an emergency motion to freeze the account and compel a full accounting. We'll see exactly where every penny went. What if they spent it all? Then they'll have to pay it back with interest, and your dad could face criminal charges for embezzlement and breach of fiduciary duty. Will he go to jail? Patricia looked at me carefully. How would you feel if he did? I thought about it, about Christmas mornings with my mom, about the fun she'd created while dying, making sure I'd have something from her every year, about my dad standing by while Vanessa spent it on vacations and cars and Jake's private school. I'd feel like he made his choice, I said. He chose Vanessa and her lifestyle over keeping his promise to Mom. That has consequences. Yes, it does. Patricia squeezed my hand. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we start fighting back. I went to the guest room, which Patricia had always kept ready for me, even after my dad stopped letting me visit, and lay in bed staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed. Text from my dad. Please come home. We can talk about this. Don't let Patricia turn you against your family. I blocked his number. Another text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Vanessa. You're destroying your father's life over money. Your mother would be ashamed. I screenshot it, saved it to my evidence folder, and blocked that number too. Then I opened my mom's old email and found the messages. She'd left me, one for each birthday, meant to be opened when I turned that age. I found the one for age 14. My sweet Hannah. You're 14 now. Probably dealing with high school drama, maybe your first crush. Definitely thinking you know everything. You don't, but that's okay. Neither did I at 14. I want to tell you something important. It's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to say no. It's okay to stand up to people, even people you love, when they're hurting you. Your kindness is a gift, but don't let anyone use it against you. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for having boundaries or asking for what you deserve. You are allowed to take up space in this world. You are allowed to demand respect. You are allowed to fight back when someone treats you badly. I wish I could be there to teach you this in person, but I trust you. I trust that you'll know when to stand your ground. I love you forever, Mom. I read it 3 times, crying. Then I saved it to my evidence folder, because my mom had taught me exactly what I needed to know, and I was done letting anyone make me feel guilty for protecting what was mine. The emergency hearing happened 4 days after Christmas. Patricia had filed motions for 1. Emergency freeze of trust account. 2. Immediate removal of my dad as trustee. 3. Appointment of Patricia as replacement trustee. 4. Full forensic accounting of all transactions. 5. Temporary restraining order preventing further withdrawals. We sat in a courtroom that smelled like old wood and stress. My dad and Vanessa on one side with their lawyer. Some guy in a cheap suit who looked overwhelmed. Patricia and me on the other side. The judge was a stern woman in her 60s named Judge Rodriguez. She reviewed the motions and the trust documents in silence. Finally, she looked up. Mr. Torres, you're the current trustee of this irrevocable trust. Yes, Your Honor. And you acknowledge using funds from this trust for purposes other than the specified annual distributions? My dad's lawyer started to answer, but the judge cut him off. I asked Mr. Torres. My dad swallowed. We used some of the money for family expenses, yes, but Hannah benefited. This trust doesn't have a provision for family expenses. It has very specific language, $3,000 to be distributed to Hannah Torres every December 24th. Nothing else? Did you or did you not violate those terms? Your Honor, in a blended family situation. That's not what I asked. Yes or no? Did you use trust funds for purposes other than the specified distributions? Long pause. Yes. How much? I don't know exactly. Your Honor, Patricia stood. We estimate at least $3,400 based on the reduction in distributions over the past 3 years. But without access to the full account records, we can't determine the total amount of misappropriated funds. Judge Rodriguez turned to my dad's lawyer. Do you have the account statements? We're prepared to provide them as part of discovery. I want them today by 5 p.m. Full transaction history for the past 6 years. She made notes. In the meantime, I'm granting the emergency freeze. No withdrawals from the trust account effective immediately. Mr. Torres, you're temporarily suspended as trustee pending investigation. Ms. Chen, you're appointed interim trustee with full access to account records. Your Honor, that's excessive. My dad's lawyer protested. Excessive would be having your client arrested for embezzlement right now. This is me being generous. Judge Rodriguez looked at my dad. Mr. Torres, you had one job: preserve your late wife's gift to her daughter. Instead, you raided it like a piggy bank to fund a lifestyle you couldn't afford. That's not a mistake, that's theft. Your Honor, I'm not done. You're ordered to produce complete financial records by 5 p.m. today. Bank statements, credit card statements, receipts for major purchases in the past 3 years. If I find evidence of additional financial abuse, credit cards in Hannah's name, forged documents, anything else, I will refer this matter to the criminal court immediately. Do you understand? My dad nodded, pale. Good. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks for a full accounting. Dismissed. We walked out of the courtroom. My dad tried to approach me. Hannah, please, can we talk? Patricia stepped between us. All communication goes through me as trustee and her legal representative. Do not contact her directly. She's my daughter. Then you should have acted like her father instead of her thief? Patricia guided me toward the exit. In the car, she let out a long breath. That went better than expected. What happens now? Now I get access to the account records and we see exactly how bad this is. Then we decide whether to pursue criminal charges or just civil recovery. What would you recommend? Patricia looked at me. What do you want, Hannah? This is your choice. I thought about my mom's email, about being allowed to protect myself, about consequences. I want the truth exposed, all of it, and I want them to face whatever consequences come from that truth. Even if it means your dad goes to prison? He made his choices. I'm just making sure everyone sees them clearly. Patricia nodded. Then that's what we'll do. The account records arrived at 4:47 p.m. Patricia and I sat at her dining room table, laptop open, reviewing 3 years of transactions. What we found was systematic, calculated theft. Year 1, after Dad married Vanessa. December 24th, $1,000 to Hannah, supposed to be $3,000. December 26th, $2,000 withdrawal. Family vacation deposit. January 15th, $5,000 withdrawal. Home improvements. March 3rd, $4,000 withdrawal. Educational expenses. Jake's private school first payment. June 12th, $3,000 withdrawal. Vehicle maintenance. Vanessa's car. August 8th, $6,000 withdrawal. Family vacation. Hawaii trip. Year 2. December 24th, $500 to Hannah, supposed to be $3,000. December 27th, $2,500 withdrawal. Holiday expenses. February 14th, $8,000 withdrawal. Educational expenses. Jake's private school. April 4th, $5,000 withdrawal. Home renovation. July 22nd, $7,000 withdrawal. Summer activities. Jake's expensive camp. September 9th, $4,000 withdrawal. Vehicle purchase deposit. Vanessa's new car. Year 3. December 24th, $0 to Hannah. December 20th, $3,000 withdrawal. Family gifts. January 30th, $9,000 withdrawal. Educational expenses, Jake's private school. March 15th, $12,000 withdrawal. Vehicle purchase, Dad's motorcycle. October 8th, $8,000 withdrawal. Home improvements, new furniture. Total, withdrawn for non-Hannah purposes, $87,000, but the original trust was only $45,000. How did they withdraw $87,000 from a $45,000 account? I asked. Patricia's face was grim. Look at this. She pointed to additional entries. Cash advances on credit cards. Card ending in 4392, Dad's name. $18,000 deposited to trust account, then immediately withdrawn. Card ending in 7733, Vanessa's name. $24,000 deposited to trust account, then immediately withdrawn. They were taking cash advances on credit cards, depositing them into the trust account to make it look like the money was there, then immediately withdrawing it for expenses, Patricia said. It's called check kiting. It's fraud. So they didn't just steal my money, they committed credit card fraud too? Yes. And look at whose name is on this card. She pointed to card 7733. The account holder was listed as Hannah M. Torres. They opened a credit card in my name? Without your knowledge or consent. That's identity theft. Patricia kept scrolling. And they ran up $24,000 in debt on it, which is why the trust account shows a negative balance right now. Negative? She turned the laptop toward me. Current balance, 12 Adward 847. My mom's Christmas fund wasn't just empty. It was in debt. And the debt was in my name. I'm 14, I said quietly. How is there debt in my name? Because your father forged your signature on credit applications. This is going to Detective Park immediately. Patricia was already dialing. And we're filing for emergency credit freeze and fraud reporting. While she talked to the detective, I stared at the screen. $12,147. My mom had left me $45,000 to remember her by. My dad and Vanessa had turned it into negative $12,000 of debt in my name. I wasn't just robbed. I was destroyed financially before I was old enough to have a learner's permit. When Patricia hung up, her face was set in stone. Detective Park is coming here tonight. She wants to see everything. Hannah, this is going to get much worse for them before it gets better for you. Good, I said, and I meant it. Detective Park arrived at 7:30 p.m. with another detective and a financial crimes specialist. We spread everything across Patricia's dining table. The trust documents, the account statements, the credit card applications with forged signatures, the receipts for Vanessa's car, my dad's motorcycle, Jake's private school. The specialist, a woman named Monica Reyes, reviewed the credit card fraud first. This is textbook identity theft, she said. Forged applications, forged signatures, credit opened in a minor's name without consent. And the amounts, $24,000 is felony level. Can we prove they forged my signature? I asked. Do you have any documents with your real signature from that time period? School enrollment forms, my learner's permit application. I started keeping copies of everything I signed after my mom died. She told me to always keep records. Monica looked at Patricia. Smart kid. Emily taught her well. We compared signatures, mine versus the ones on the credit applications. They weren't even close. The forgeries were obvious. Adult handwriting trying to look young and failing. This is enough for charges, Detective Park said. Multiple counts of identity theft, credit card fraud, forgery. That's before we even get to the trust embezzlement. What kind of prison time are we looking at? Patricia asked. For your father? 3 to 5 years if he cooperates, more if he fights. For Vanessa, Detective Park looked at the evidence. She's the one who actually forged most of these signatures. We found her handwriting on several applications. And she had the most to gain. I'd say 5 to 8 years. I felt nothing hearing those numbers, just cold clarity. What about getting the money back? I asked. We'll seize assets, the car purchased with trust funds, the motorcycle. We'll try to recover tuition paid to Jake's school, though that's harder. The furniture, Anything we can prove was bought with stolen money. And the debt in my name? We'll get it cleared. It'll take time, but with this evidence, the credit bureaus will remove it. You'll have a clean credit history. Monica started documenting everything with photos and notes. Detective Park made calls, coordinating with prosecutors. Patricia sat next to me. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Is that weird? That I'm okay with all this? No, you're protecting yourself. That's healthy. I just keep thinking about what Mom would say. She'd say she's proud of you for standing up for yourself, for not letting them get away with it. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. The text made my blood run cold. You're destroying our family. Jake is crying because his friends know his tuition was paid with stolen money. You're selfish. You always were. Your mother would be disgusted. I showed it to Detective Park. That's Vanessa, I said. I recognize the phrasing. That's witness intimidation. Save it. Forward it to me. She made another note. That's an additional charge. The texts kept coming. You're going to regret this. We gave you a home, food, a family. This is how you repay us? Your father is going to lose his job because of you. I forwarded each one to Detective Park and saved them in my evidence folder. Patricia finally took my phone. That's enough. We're getting you a new number tomorrow. By the time the detectives left at 11 p.m., they had enough evidence for criminal charges: embezzlement from irrevocable trust, 30-45-1,500 plotters, identity theft, 3 counts, credit card fraud, 7 counts, forgery, 12 counts, witness intimidation, 4 counts, the texts. Arrest warrants will be issued within 48 hours, Detective Park said. Hannah, you're going to have to testify eventually. Are you prepared for that? Yes. It won't be easy. Defense lawyers will try to make you look vindictive or greedy. Let them try. I have evidence. They have excuses. Detective Park smiled slightly. You're going to do fine. The arrests happened on New Year's Eve. My dad was taken into custody at his office. Vanessa was arrested at home. Jake called me crying. Hannah, the police took my mom. They said she stole from you. They're saying Dad might go to prison. What's happening? Your mom and my dad stole my Christmas fund, the money my mom left me before she died. They spent it on your private school, your stuff, their cars, and they opened credit cards in my name and ran up thousands in debt. I didn't know. I know you didn't, but it still happened. What's going to happen to us? I don't know, Jake. That's up to the courts. He hung up, still crying. I felt bad for him. He was 11, caught in the middle of his mom's crimes. But I couldn't fix that. I couldn't protect him from the consequences of what his mother had done. Patricia came into the room. Your dad posted bail, $50,000. Vanessa's bail is $100,000. She hasn't posted yet. Where did Dad get $50,000? Borrowed it from his brother, apparently. Uncle Tom knows. The whole family knows. Your dad called everyone, trying to paint you as the villain. Some believe him. Most don't, especially after Tom saw the evidence. What did Uncle Tom say? Patricia smiled grimly. He said, if you stole from Emily's kid, you deserve whatever happens. The trial was set for March, 2 months away. In the meantime, I lived with Patricia, went back to school, and tried to pretend my life was normal. It wasn't. Everyone knew. The story had made local news. Father and stepmother arrested for stealing dead wife's Christmas fund for daughter. Kids at school whispered. Some thought I was brave. Others thought I was awful for sending my own dad to jail. I stopped caring what they thought. I had evidence. I had the law on my side. I had my mom's words telling me it was okay to protect myself. That was enough. The trial started on March 15th. The prosecution's case was straightforward. Show the trust document, show the violations, show the forged credit applications, show the debt created in my name. I testified on day 3. The prosecutor asked me to walk through discovering the theft. I told them about the Christmas Eve conversation, the cheap necklace, the mountain of presents for everyone else, the bank statement showing $0. How did that make you feel? The prosecutor asked. Angry. My mom died making sure I'd have something from her every Christmas, and they spent it like it was nothing, like she was nothing. Vanessa's lawyer objected. Emotional appeal, Your Honor. Overruled, she's allowed to explain the impact. I continued. I felt like they'd stolen my mom twice, once when she died, and again when they took the last thing she'd left me. The defense cross-examination was brutal. Vanessa's lawyer tried to make it sound like I was greedy, entitled, ungrateful. Isn't it true you lived in their home rent-free? I'm 14, minors don't pay rent. Isn't it true you benefited from the vacations and home improvements purchased with trust funds? I didn't ask for those. I asked for my mom's Christmas tradition. They stole that to buy things I never wanted. Isn't it true you're doing this for revenge because you don't like your stepmother? I'm doing this because they stole $3,400 from me, forged credit applications in my name, and destroyed my credit before I was old enough to drive. That's not revenge. That's justice. My dad's lawyer was gentler, but still tried to paint him as a confused man who made mistakes. Mr. Torres, did you intend to hurt your daughter? No, never. I thought I was making decisions for the family's benefit. But you knew the trust was irrevocable. Yes, but Vanessa said, your wife convinced you to violate the trust? Pause. Yes. That was the moment my dad's lawyer tried to throw Vanessa under the bus. Make it seem like she'd manipulated him, that he was a victim too. The jury didn't buy it. Vanessa's testimony was worse. She was cold, defensive, unapologetic. I did what was best for the family unit. Hannah was provided for. She had a home, food, education. Did you open credit cards in Hannah's name? The prosecutor asked. The family needed financial resources. That's not what I asked, yes or no. Did you forge Hannah Torres' signature on credit applications? Long pause. Yes. Did you know that was illegal? I thought as her stepmother I had authority. You're not her legal guardian. You have no authority over her finances. Did you know it was illegal to forge a minor's signature on credit applications? I didn't think it would be a problem. The prosecutor showed the jury the forged signatures versus my real ones. These don't even look similar. You weren't confused. You were committing fraud. Vanessa had no answer. Jennifer Torres, the second wife from my dad's bigamy case in another story. Wait, wrong story. Jake testified briefly. He confirmed he'd attended private school paid for, with the trust funds. Confirmed the Hawaii vacation, the new furniture. His voice shook the whole time. I felt bad for him again, but not bad enough to drop the charges. Patricia testified about the trust terms, my mom's intentions, the systematic violations. The financial crimes specialist walked the jury through the money trail, every stolen dollar documented. The trial took 2 weeks. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts for both of them. Sentencing came 3 weeks later. My dad went first. The judge was the same woman from the emergency hearing, Judge Rodriguez. She looked at my dad with open contempt. Mr. Torres, your late wife trusted you to honor her final gift to her daughter. Instead, you betrayed that trust, stole from your child, and committed multiple felonies to fund a lifestyle you couldn't afford. You've shown minimal remorse and attempted to blame everyone but yourself. Your Honor, I made mistakes, but I never meant. You forged your daughter's signature 12 times. You opened credit cards in her name. You stole $34,500 from a protected trust. Those aren't mistakes. Those are crimes. She sentenced him to 4 years in state prison. Full restitution of $34,500 plus the $24,000 in fraudulent credit card debt. Permanent removal from any fiduciary role. Registration as a financial criminal. Vanessa's sentencing was worse. Miss Harper, you married into this family and immediately began looting your stepdaughter's inheritance. You forged signatures. You manipulated your husband into violating his late wife's trust. You sent threatening messages to a 14-year-old child. You've shown zero remorse. Vanessa started to speak. Judge Rodriguez cut her off. I'm sentencing you to 6 years in state prison, full restitution jointly with Mr. Torres, permanent ban from serving as trustee, guardian, or having access to any minor's financial accounts, and you're banned from all contact with Hannah Torres unless she initiates it after turning 18. 6 years for Vanessa, 4 for my dad. I watched them get handcuffed, watched them get led away. My dad looked at me one last time, mouthed, "I'm sorry." I looked away. Too little, too late. The asset recovery took months. The court seized Vanessa's car, sold it for $11,000. My dad's motorcycle, $8,000. The furniture purchased with trust funds, $3,200 at auction. Jake's private school was harder. The tuition had been paid and spent. The school refused to refund it. But the court garnished my dad's pension and Vanessa's future wages to make up the difference. Total recovered, $52,200 of the $58,500 stolen, including the credit card debt. The credit bureaus cleared all the fraudulent debt from my record. I had a clean slate. Patricia managed the restored trust fund. With the recovered money and what little had been left, the balance was back to $38,000, not the original $45,000 plus growth, but enough. On December 24th of that year, my 15th, Christmas, Patricia handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $3,000 and a letter from my mom that I'd never seen. Dearest Hannah, if you're reading this, it means my Christmas fund is working the way I hoped. It means Patricia is making sure you get this every year. It means even though I can't be there, you're still getting a little piece of me each Christmas. I hope you're happy. I hope you're safe. I hope you're with people who love you and treat you with kindness. If you're not, if someone has hurt you or broken the rules I set up to protect you, I hope you've been brave enough to stand up for yourself. I hope you fought back. Because you deserve to be protected. You deserve to have people keep their promises to you. And if they don't, you deserve to make sure they face consequences. I'm so proud of you, my sweet girl. Not because of what you achieve or accomplish, but because of who you are. Kind, strong, brave, mine. Merry Christmas, Hannah. I love you more than all the stars. Mom! I cried reading it. Patricia held me while I sobbed. She knew, I whispered. She knew someone might try to steal it. That's why she made it irrevocable. That's why she named you as backup. Emily was very smart, and she knew your dad might remarry someone who didn't respect her wishes. So she protected you the only way she could, with legal documents and a friend who'd fight for you. I miss her. I know, sweetheart, I know. That Christmas, Patricia and I started new traditions. We cooked together, watched old movies, talked about my mom, and I deposited the $3,000 check into a savings account Patricia helped me open. In my name only. No co-signers, no trustees who could touch it. Just mine. It's been 3 years since that Christmas when my stepmom told me the fund was gone. I'm 17 now, graduating high school in 2 months. My dad gets out of prison next year. Vanessa has 3 more years to serve. Jake and I talk occasionally. He lives with his grandmother now, transferred to public school. He apologized for his mom's actions, even though they weren't his fault. We're not close, but we're not enemies. My dad writes letters from prison. Most of them I don't read. The few I have read are full of excuses, justifications, promises to make it up to me. I don't know if I'll ever forgive him. Maybe. Maybe not. That's a decision for future Hannah. Current Hannah is focused on other things. I got into Stanford with a full scholarship. The admissions essay about financial literacy and protecting yourself from family fraud apparently resonated with them. The Christmas fund has grown to $42,000 now, carefully managed by Patricia, I'll receive my last $3,000 distribution on my 18th birthday in a few months. After that, what's left will be mine completely, to use for college expenses, just like my mom intended. Last week, I gave a talk at a family law conference about financial abuse of minors, about red flags, about the importance of backup trustees and oversight, about teaching kids to protect themselves. 3 attorneys approached me after, said they had clients in similar situations, asked if I'd be willing to consult, share my evidence gathering techniques. I said yes, because here's what I learned. Predators rely on victims staying quiet. They rely on shame and family loyalty, and the idea that questioning parents is disrespect. But questioning isn't disrespect. It's survival. And sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you need legal documents. Sometimes you need backup plans. Sometimes you need someone brave enough to say, this isn't okay, and make it stop. My mom knew that. That's why she created an irrevocable trust, instead of just trusting my dad. That's why she named Patricia as backup, instead of assuming family would do the right thing. She protected me, even after she was gone. And when that protection was violated, I protected myself. My dad and Vanessa thought they could steal Christmas from a dead woman's daughter and no one would care because I was just a kid. They were wrong. They forgot that kids can read legal documents. Kids can gather evidence. Kids can call the police. And some kids have mothers who taught them to fight back. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment about where you're watching from. And if someone in your family is being secretive about money that belongs to you, especially money left by someone who died, get documentation. Ask questions. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting what's yours. Subscribe for more stories. Because sometimes the people who are supposed to protect your inheritance are the ones stealing it. And sometimes the bravest thing a teenager can do is turn one empty Christmas into evidence that brings down a house of lies. My name is Hannah. I'm 17 years old. And I'm the girl who made sure my mom's final gift couldn't be stolen without consequences. Merry Christmas, Mom. I kept your tradition alive, just like you knew I would.